Whoosh! With a swift sound, he easily passed through the 4th level and entered the 3rd level of the ancient prison. The evil aura here is much weaker than the 4th level. Upon arriving, Xiao stepped forward, then casually surveyed his surroundings and spoke. Looking around, the 3rd level of the ancient prison was incredibly vast, at least 10 times larger than the 4th level. Nearly 10 passages were visible, and aside from some cages, there were also several houses suitable for human habitation, quite delicate in appearance. However, a faintly cold, desolate aura lingered, clearly giving the place an eerie, sinister atmosphere. Lord Xian is waiting for you inside. A few guards' voices suddenly sounded as Xiao Yan hesitated. Take me there, Xiao Yan nodded and replied. This is the one. Not long after, they arrived at a pitch-black stone house. The stone room was sealed tight, and from the outside, nothing could be seen within. Go down, Xiao Yan said lightly, dismissing the guard. He then made his way directly towards the stone house. However, Xiao Yan noticed that the guard's strength was surprisingly at the rare 6-star Do Xian level. Behind them, there was a tiny hole, from which countless evil auras emanated, but it did not affect their movements in the slightest. I want to see who this person really is, Xiao Yan murmured as he walked step by step towards the black stone house. How are things? Have you found those mysterious individuals? As soon as the door was opened, a lazy yet sinister voice came from inside. Not yet. These humans are too crafty. Xiao Yan entered and smoothly locked the stone door behind him, shaking his head. Inside the stone house, a mass of evil black energy floated in the air. The black aura was strangely suspended above the head of an elderly figure. The elder's eyes were vacant, his movements sluggish, like a walking corpse as he spoke. It seems someone in the Gu clan has detected our presence. Well, no matter. The king's grand ceremony has been prepared for so many years. It's time for it to begin, the elder spoke indifferently, his voice filled with fervor. When mentioning the king, a deep reverence emanated from him. Another city lord under control? Xiao Yan observed, and the elder's face became clearly visible before him. He could not help but speak. Gu Hao, mid 8-star Do Xian level. I'm curious. What kind of confidence did you have to come here? Just as Xiao Yan was puzzled, the elder's gaze turned vicious. A cold killing intent surged uncontrollably. Clearly, the moment Xiao Yan stepped into the stone room, his identity had already been recognized. This should be something I ask, Xiao Yan replied with a slow smile. He didn't care how his identity was exposed, as there were only the two of them here, and it would be easy to make a move. You're just a mere boy. What kind of storm can you stir with your 7-star Do Xian skills? The elder sneered, clearly dismissing him. Is that so? Then you better open your eyes and see clearly. Lovesickness Flame Domain. Without wasting time on idle chatter, Xiao Yan cast his attack, similar to his situation with Gu Yuan, but this time, the evil aura controlling the elder's body had reached the mid 8-star Do Xian level. An 8-star Do Xian from the extraterritorial evil clan was still quite a challenge for Xiao Yan. He had to avoid using his ultimate techniques to prevent drawing the attention of stronger demonic creatures below. Come then. The elder spoke coldly, and the black energy surged into his body. Endless evil black energy spread out, turning his eyes pitch black. Boom! Xiao Yan's body moved swiftly, using his basic great heavenly seed-enhanced fire Do Qi to attack with a fierce howl. Your attacks are too weak, the elder said with a cold snort, clearly unimpressed. Despite Xiao Yan's aggressive stance, his strength barely reached the full 7-star Do Xian level with the aid of the Lovesickness Flame Domain. The elder sneered in disdain. The gap between 7-star and 8-star is indeed not trivial, Xiao Yan sighed. His trip to the monster realm had not yet allowed him to merge the undying flame into the 5 sacred flames to create a new flame. Thus, fighting an 8-star Do Xian was quite taxing. Of course, the most significant issue was that the 8-star Do Xian had resonated with the world itself, reaching a mysterious and ethereal state, which made him far superior to a mere 7-star Do Xian. Demon Snake Prison. The elder coldly snorted, raising his palm. The dark black energy condensed like thick liquid and suddenly formed a terrifying, twisted demon snake in this pinkish domain. Chit chit chit. A strange, serpent-like hiss erupted, as it twisted its enormous body and charged directly at Xiao. For a moment, the battle here was intense and evenly matched. On the other side, ever since entering the ancient prison, Liu Hao had perfectly concealed his figure and aura using a piece of celestial equipment from the Holy See, the light-shielding immortal shield. He became as transparent as air, entering the ancient prison as if it were an uninhabited place. It seems Xiao has entered here? Liu Hao muttered, furrowing his brow. But it's strange, the aura here feels a bit similar to that of the extraterritorial evil clan. As a child of light, Liu Hao's sensitivity to the aura of the extraterritorial evil clan surpassed even Xiao. Never mind, let's go in and check it out. After pondering for a moment without any conclusive answer, Liu Hao silently slipped inside. This the domain? As soon as he stepped in, Liu Hao looked at the fierce battle unfolding before him and couldn't help but exclaim, "Heh, no time to play with you." Liu Hao's celestial artifact had previously concealed his aura perfectly, but as soon as he stepped into Xiao lovesickness flame domain, it lost its effect. Although Xiao had no idea why this person was here, time was tight. With a roar, he forcefully knocked aside Gu Hao, then, with a shake of his body, quickly left, heading toward the second level of the ancient prison. Cunning little beast, you think you can escape? Gu Hao would not let this opportunity slip by. With a deafening crash, he charged after Xiao. Hee, if I can slay the extraterritorial evil clan, I can return and celebrate, have the Pope crown me in advance, and with my status, the holy maiden of the Gu clan will be no more difficult to deal with than swatting a fly. At that moment, Liu Hao suddenly thought of a better plan and smiled at Gu Hao before him. Get down here. With an enraged shout, a dazzling aura of light filled the entire stone chamber. The light was mingled with countless sacred sounds. The sheer power emanating from this was far beyond what an ordinary Holy See expert could possess. Seems like some interesting characters have shown up this time. Seeing Liu Hao's terrifying presence, Gu Hao abandoned his pursuit of Xiao and twisted his body to face Liu Hao directly. Though Liu Hao was relatively weak, his terrifying knowledge and the supreme status of being the child of light made it clear that one wrong move could result in his own demise at Liu Hao's hands. This Liu Hao is not to be underestimated. I'll head directly to the second level. After leaving the stone chamber, Xiao quickly inspected the area, finding no traces of his uncle Gu Yuan or the others. He shook his head, pinning his hopes on the final, second level of the ancient prison. The fourth level of the ancient prison, not even Xiao, nor the mighty Gu Qingkong and others, understood its mysteries. However, every descending level intensified the tremors within Xiao body. All secrets awaited him to uncover. Rip. A few minutes later, Xiao arrived at the entrance to the third level's passage, but hesitated for a moment. Before him was a round-shaped passage, like a black water curtain, hanging at the very edge of the third level of the ancient prison. It faintly radiated a sinister aura that made Xiao's skin prickle with a chill, as if he had been shocked by electricity. Doesn't matter. After a quick glance behind him, Xiao leaped forward and plunged into the passage. Second level of the ancient prison. This place was completely different from what Xiao had imagined. There were no iron bars or visible cages, no prisoners. Instead, a massive stone hall was tightly sealed. The entire space seemed filled with an eerie stillness. It was too quiet. So quiet that Xiao began to doubt whether he was truly in the second level of the ancient prison. Looking around, the empty prison had no guards or patrols. No one was here at all. The dark, gloomy stone blocks that enveloped the second level of the ancient prison were so tightly sealed that even Xiao's soul power could not penetrate them. It was extremely secure. An overwhelming coldness suddenly surged into Xiao's heart, pressing down on him. Sacred flame. Looking at this scene, Xiao's body flickered with amber soul rock flame. At this point, it seemed he could only force his way through. A faint rustling sound echoed from the cracks in the surrounding rocks. Rats, cockroaches, and centipedes crawled through, all bearing a strange and unspoken evil aura. Xiao Yan's expression tightened. Whoosh whoosh. Protected by the sacred flame, Xiao Yan released his soul power, remaining vigilant of his surroundings as he gently pushed open the stone hall's massive doors and stepped inside. What is this? As soon as he entered the hall, a horrifying scene assaulted Xiao Yan's senses. The hall was nearly 1,000 meters wide, towering like a loft. Inside, countless black chains and cages filled the space. Looking up, the dark, oppressive chains and cages intertwined, with a faint, dying figure trapped in each cage. At the very bottom of the chains, there was a jade vat, already half filled with blood. This blood was chillingly cold, surrounded by strands of black mist, exuding an aura of evil that was horrifying to behold. These are all living people. Judging by their appearance, they're either prisoners or from the Gu clan. Xiao Yan glanced around and found it strange that there were no guards here. Why, young brother? As Xiao Yan was surveying the area, a weak voice came from a nearby iron cage. A middle-aged man, barely clinging to life, spoke up, his voice laced with endless coldness. What happened here? Xiao Yan slowly approached, hoping to gather some useful information. Don't come closer. Stay right there. Just as Xiao Yan was about to step forward, the middle-aged man coldly snorted, his pupils suddenly contracting. With a creak, an energy barrier of dark red hue appeared in front of Xiao Yan, forcefully rebounding him. The force was so bizarre that even Xiao Yan's quick reflexes couldn't avoid it. Thud. Xiao Yan, caught off guard, was sent stumbling several meters back before finally stabilizing his stance. Extraterritorial evil clan? At this moment, Xiao Yan's gaze grew deeper as he looked at the people trapped behind the dark red energy barrier. This level of energy barrier was something he couldn't break through even if he gave his all. The one who cast it was clearly at the late 8-star Do Xian stage, or perhaps at perfection. Young brother, although I don't know how you managed to get here, I can sense that your aura is extraordinary. You are definitely not from the extraterritorial evil clan. Please, save us, the Gu clan. The middle-aged man's voice turned hoarse, as if he had found a lifeline. What exactly is going on? Xiao Yan immediately stood at the edge of the energy barrier and asked. The Gu clan has traitors. We've fallen into the trap of the extraterritorial evil clan. The middle-aged man's expression darkened, and he roared furiously. I am the 9th elder of the Gu clan, and this is the elder's token. Seeing Xiao Yan fall silent, the middle-aged man took out a jade token that had been carefully protected. It was flawless, made from high-quality jade, and engraved with the elegant Gu character in a swirling, dragon-like style, exuding an air of majesty. Indeed, the aura of the Gu clan, Xiao Yan nodded, now fully convinced of the middle-aged man's words. There were only a few dozen strong individuals in the entire Gu clan who possessed such elders' tokens. Each token held immense power, a fact well known across the Doyun continent. 9th elder, what has happened to the Gu clan? Xiao Yan couldn't help but ask. The current Gu clan can no longer be called the Gu clan. It would be more accurate to call it a breeding ground for demons. The middle-aged man choked, self-reproach flashing across his face. I thought as much. Xiao Yan nodded, seemingly having guessed part of the situation. At first, the Gu clan's clan leader and some elders secretly left the clan, intending to eliminate the Soul Hall and eradicate the Soul Clan's roots. But little did they know, that plan was the beginning of all the evil. Due to intelligence leaks, the Gu clan's strong warriors were all caught in a trap by the Soul Hall and the extraterritorial evil clan. They were all severely injured, and evil energy was injected into them, controlling their minds. Later, the clan leader, along with the elders, returned, bringing with them countless evil forces, which infiltrated the heart of the Gu clan. The gray barrier you see is the breeding ground for these demons. The once mighty Gu clan is now just a source of nourishment for the new extraterritorial evil clan kings. His voice was filled with murderous intent, echoing throughout the place. So, the strong members of the Gu clan imprisoned in the ancient prison are those who refuse to obey their orders? Xiao Yan asked. Correct. More than 70% of the Gu clan's strong warriors are now imprisoned in the ancient prison. While they still retain some of their power, their situation is not much different from ours. The ninth elder spoke coldly. What about the Supreme Heavenly Emperor and the others? Xiao asked again. They should be in the first level. After a pause, the ninth elder slowly spoke, as if wary of something. You cannot enter the first level, because that is where the true Senluo Hell lies. The ninth elder couldn't help but say, noticing Xiao resolve. Hell, I've never been, but I've walked through the gates of death countless times. So, one more time doesn't hurt. Xiao burst out laughing. Even if it meant certain death, he was determined to face the so-called Senluo Hell. Good kid, you have guts. Hearing Xiao confident words, the ninth elder's eyes drooped slightly, and a hint of satisfaction appeared. This young man seemed to possess a faint, yet unmistakable, aura of kingship. He would surely achieve great things in the future. Could it be? Xiao seemed to recall something and asked. I don't know. Whether the elders failed to transcend the tribulation and entered reincarnation, or if there are other issues, even we are unclear, replied Elder 9 with a heavy tone. When we first noticed that the clan leader and others' auras were off, we used secret methods to try and call the elders, but there was no response, Elder 9 continued gravely. The first level of Gu prison holds those with immense power or high prestige. It seems that the extraterritorial evil clan intends to control them, turning them into slaves to serve them. Among the guardians, there are many powerful experts at the late 8-star Do Xian level, and even a true behemoth level king of the extraterritorial evil clan overseeing them personally. How do you plan to proceed? After explaining what he knew, Elder 9 asked softly, do you want me to go back and get reinforcements? Xiao sensed something from Elder 9's unkind gaze. But what surprised him was that a king of the extraterritorial evil clan was actually stationed here. According to the current information in the Great Thousand Worlds, the highest rank of the extraterritorial evil clan was that of a king. There were 4 types: the ordinary king, black king, white king, and red king. Regardless of which type, for Xiao, it would be a certain death. I vaguely sense a trace of light energy. If I'm not mistaken, it should be someone from the Holy See. You should leave immediately and head for the Holy See. The extraterritorial evil clan is their mortal enemy. I'm sure they'll be eager to intervene. After all, this matter involves too much. Only they can help. Elder 9 murmured, though he knew that even with Xiao exceptional sacred flame talent, he was still only a late 7-star Do Xian, and such power was simply not enough. What else do you know? Say it all at once, or there won't be time. Xiao urged. As for the Holy See, I don't have much interest, Xiao said faintly, making his stance quite clear. Sighing, Elder 9 handed him a silver-white scroll that slowly passed through the evil barrier and landed in Xiao hand. Take this. It will allow you to escape for a short time. Leave it to me. Xiao accepted it and slowly turned to leave, heading toward the so-called first level. I hope this guy can bring some miracles. Otherwise, the Gu clan will surely be wiped out in this catastrophe. Elder 9's weak voice faded away, clearly aware that the time for such strong figures was running out. Whoosh! After exiting the stone hall, Xiao checked the second level and found no further suspicious areas. He then slowly made his way toward the final level. At the end of the second level, the passage leading to the first level was blocked by a mysterious barrier. The barrier resembled a massive pit, bottomless, with a chilling, malevolent energy swirling from it, making one's skin crawl. The terrifying aura was comparable to jumping into a pit of thousands of corpses. Crack! Suddenly, an invisible black beam of light descended, filled with an evil aura that made Xiao body tremble. Breeding ground for demons, cultivating kings? Xiao muttered, a rare expression of solemnity crossing his face as he gazed down at the abyss, glowing with bloody and malevolent energy. When you gaze into the abyss also gazes into you. The sudden thought appeared in Xiao mind as he stared downward. Fire Guard Ruler. Without hesitation, Xiao body became a dot of darkness, moving swiftly toward the first level of Gu prison. It was easy for him to break through the barrier and enter the first level. Looking around, the cells were all individually separated, and even the floor was covered in a strange, cold liquid that seemed to float unnaturally. The eerie, oppressive atmosphere made Xiao even more alert. "There's no one here?" Xiao muttered, his senses tingling. "No, they must be deeper inside." After a brief scan, Xiao realized that the first level of Gu prison was vast and seemed to spiral downward in a special stairwell space. Surrounding him, the many isolated cells were filled with special energy that could devour Do Qi. Based on the sacred flame's feedback, this should be the place, Xiao continued cautiously, making his way down the spiral stairwell of the prison. Bang! 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 Just as he was carefully descending along the edge of the Gu prison, a loud metallic clanging noise from one of the cells caught his attention. "What's this?" The cell was tightly sealed, with only a small crack to peer inside. Xiao, in his darkened form, cautiously approached the cell where the noise came from. Heh. Just as Xiao breath hovered, his gaze turned towards the inner part of the space. Suddenly, a figure appeared, looking utterly disheveled, black hair covering half its face. Yet, a pair of eyes, flickering with a ghostly light, stared menacingly at Xiao. Whoosh! Xiao felt a sudden shock in his heart as he met the figure's gaze. Despite the faint aura coming from this figure, Xiao couldn't help but continue observing. The face was incredibly unkempt, with a thick beard that looked as though it had been imprisoned for countless years. Moreover, the noticeable black chains on his body continuously devoured his Do Qi, rendering him unable to utilize any Do Qi abilities. What is this? Gu Yuan. After a moment, as the figure sensed Xiao presence, he sluggishly parted his black hair with his filthy hands and muttered while staring at Xiao. Xiao couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Even though the figure's appearance was obscured and altered, Xiao immediately recognized him. Gu Yuan, the city lord of Gu Yuan City. But wasn't it just at the entrance of the Gu prison that he had eradicated the evil aura attached to Gu Yuan and helped him return to normal? Now, in front of him, stood another figure exactly like Gu Yuan, sending shockwaves through Xiao heart. A soul body? Just as countless thoughts flooded Xiao mind, he suddenly realized something. Who are you? The figure, bound tightly by chains and unable to move, coldly spoke to the light, his voice hoarse and unfamiliar, as though he hadn't spoken in countless years. From Xiao, he sensed a familiar aura. It was his own power. There is another Gu Yuan in the outside world. I erased the evil aura attached to him. Hasn't he already returned to normal? What is going on here? Xiao couldn't help but ask. Yes. Hearing Xiao calm tone, the soul body of Gu Yuan trembled with excitement, causing the chains around him to vibrate as his entire body quivered. What exactly is happening? Countless questions filled Xiao mind. Coupled with the small holes he had noticed at the back of everyone's necks, Xiao directed his questioning gaze at the soul body of Gu Yuan. They are raising us. The soul body of Gu Yuan spoke with great emotion, his body shaking uncontrollably. But Gu Yuan had already returned to normal, right? Xiao asked again, feeling at a loss. This was unlike anything he had ever encountered. No, you're wrong. Now, the Gu clan has completely fallen, becoming the base of the extraterritorial evil clan. We, the Gu clan, are nothing but their food and nourishment. After they took control of us, they scattered our soul bodies, imprisoning them in the Gu prison, awaiting the final grand ceremony. We will all become nourishment, waiting for the birth of their new king. The soul body of Gu Yang's eyes were filled with despair as he spoke in a soft voice. Decades of imprisonment had left his soul body utterly broken. The first level of the Gu prison. Are all of you in the same situation? Xiao, holding on to the last shred of hope, couldn't help but ask. The massive spiral tower, vast in scope from top to bottom, seemed to contain life forms at its base that could completely shatter Xiao understanding. The extraterritorial evil clan has a very clear objective. After they invaded the Gu clan, they sealed the entire Gu realm and began targeting the higher-ups of the Gu clan. They controlled us, and while we were once no different from true humans, we have now completely become their puppets. Our soul bodies were expelled and sealed here, preparing for the grand ceremony. Everything is just to cultivate a new king. Now, all those imprisoned in the Gu prison share the same fate. If no human intervenes, the Gu clan will be completely annihilated in the near future. The soul body of Gu Yuan continued. As he spoke of the Gu clan's impending destruction, a trace of self-blame flickered in his eyes. The Gu clan's countless ancestors had fought tooth and nail to build their legacy, only for it to be completely destroyed. The heart-wrenching pain made his eyes sting with tears. How much time do we have left? Xiao asked in a low voice. I don't know, but we don't have much time. Gu Yuan shook his head weakly. The current situation was beyond Xiao ability to stop alone. I'll go down and take a look. After some thought, Xiao figure shifted into a shadow, heading downward. With each step he took, an overwhelming evil aura made Xiao instinctively grow more vigilant. At the bottom of the first level of the Gu prison's spiral tower, there was a completely new area. It was as if the space above and the space below were two separate realms, one used to imprison soul bodies, the other to cultivate powerful beings. The space was eerily flat, with towering demonic stone statues standing firm. However, all of them were stained with blood, their surfaces soaked in crimson red. The continuous stretch of demon castles, their shapes resembling the heads of demons, stood silently in this grim hellscape, surrounded by endless floating bones. 7 or 8 massive hills of withered bones rose high, while torrents of blood rivers surged beneath the statues, castles, and bone mountains, howling as they flowed. At the center of these demon castles, a small demonic statue stood quietly. It absorbed an unceasing flow of power, and faintly, an overwhelming life force surged from it. Surrounding statues lowered their heads in reverence, as if bowing in respect. Xiao stood quietly at the entrance to this Senluo Hell space, hesitating to take a step. The oppressive force here was no less than that of a perfect 8-star Docian. Adding to that, this place was now a stronghold of evil demons. If his identity were exposed, he feared. Below in the Senluo Hell, bloodlight surged to the heavens. Endless blood-colored mist swirled around, with the scent of decay rising sharply, making one want to retch. Rivers of blood gathered and flowed. Everywhere, broken limbs, intestines, hands, feet, and skulls were scattered. The horrifying scene was enough to send chills down anyone's spine. How many human lives and corpses had been sacrificed to create this scene? Looking toward the demon castles, the barren, dark, and twisted land around them was littered with powerful bodies, scattered randomly. Some were even hung on the walls of the demon castles, and Xiao could sense from their remains an overwhelming aura of oppression. Clearly, they had once been powerful beings, but had endured countless tortures before death. Their miserable state still remained. It seems, I must send them a grand gift, Xiao muttered as his eyes locked onto the small demonic statue deep within Senluo Hell. His sacred flame and demonic power stirred in unison, and a wave of indescribable pressure swept through him. Death, coldness, fear, numerous hostile energies bombarded him, as if this demonic statue was continuously devouring the life force and even the souls of the Gu clan's imprisoned members. The power it absorbed seemed to be growing. Once fully awakened, it would likely be at least an 8-star Docian, or perhaps even reincarnation level. Hoo-hoo. Xiao took a deep breath, his amber-colored flames, the pale yellow immortal flames, and the dark green demonic power all materializing simultaneously. A surge of madness slowly began to form in his heart. Since the sacred flame could fuse and solidify, why not fuse the immortal flames here as well, creating a new fire born from the fusion of 5 different sacred flames? With such a new flame, its power would undoubtedly rival that of the sacred flame ranked around 14th, pushing Xiao strength to a whole new level. Demonic power, sacred flame power. One righteous, one evil. The sacred flame was the purest, most sacred fire in the great thousand worlds, untainted by all evil. The demonic power, however, was an unprecedented force, the new attribute of the great thousand worlds, representing an entirely new power. Whether these two could merge completely remained uncertain. However, Xiao knew that he had no choice. If the demonic breeding here wasn't stopped in time, the entire Doyun continent would soon face an unprecedented disaster. No, I must first find Uncle Gu Yuan and the others. After a brief pause, Xiao withdrew the three powers, his figure moving swiftly toward the spiral tower. He needed to rescue them before making his move. If he attacked now, the Gu clan's forces would perish at his hands, and that would be a loss too great to bear. However, Xiao perfectly concealed aura was suddenly exposed due to the surge of demonic and sacred flame powers. Unseen eyes in Senluo Hell's evil domain caught onto his presence. A crisis like no other awaited him. At the same time, the so-called Child of Light had dealt with the evil creatures, stepping into the first level of the ancient prison. Because of this, Xiao was given a chance to rescue the hostages. SSS. The disturbing sound of unsettling movements rippled through the entire Senluo Hell. Like a volatile explosive, the sinister atmosphere igniting in an instant. Swish. It seems some ants with no sense of their place have come in. Feng, how exactly are you monitoring the defenses of the ancient prison? Inside a cold, desolate hall within the evil fortress, three groups of black energy stood silently. The one at the forefront suddenly spoke, its voice laced with a terrifying fury. At the center of the black energy, a demonic figure about 10 feet tall emerged, its aura radiating pure evil. It's my fault for not doing my job properly. I'll go take a look. One of the two other black energies muttered and disappeared without a trace. Such a strange aura. Not long after, on the spiral staircase leading down to the first level of the ancient prison, Liu Hao's figure appeared. The evil presence he had fought earlier had already been completely destroyed by him. What a joke. Did they think they could resist him? He was the legitimate child of light of the Holy See, with his knowledge and the numerous treasures on him. How could an anonymous evil figure stand a chance? Whoosh! A cold wind blew, amplifying the already eerie atmosphere. The auras of Xiao and the Child of Light perfectly overlapped, which is why neither of them noticed each other. Crack! As Liu Hao hid his figure using his immortal artifact, the void ahead suddenly began to ripple. A thick mass of black energy poured uncontrollably from it, then dripped onto the ground. The chilling temperature and eerie stillness immediately put Liu Hao on high alert. Clearly, both Xiao and Liu Hao had been noticed first by this true expert from the extraterritorial evil clan. A young man appeared before Liu Hao. He was tall, with distinct, deep facial features, resembling an unmoving stone statue. His dark eyes exuded an alluring yet sinister charm, perfectly complementing his elegant appearance. A faint, indifferent smile played on his lips. His aura. Late 8-star Do Xian. What is this place? Liu Hao's brow furrowed. This man was clearly coming for him. The narrow space of this evil tower left no room for escape. It felt like facing an overwhelming enemy. Light attribute? The young man's lips curled into a slight smile, a hint of surprise in his voice, as if he couldn't believe it. The light attribute was a deadly threat to the extraterritorial evil clan and something they deeply despised, on par with sacred flame. Who are you? Liu Hao asked. To appear in the ancient prison of the Gu clan? He could feel the oppressive aura of the evil man pressing in. The light energy around him began to build, and a sense of shared enmity filled the air. Evil domain. The young man sneered, and dark, tangible demonic energy surged out like a tidal wave, immediately enveloping them both. Domain? Not good. Liu Hao had just prepared to use a powerful move when he stumbled, trapped within the evil domain's barrier. My name is Feng. This is my domain. A light attribute cultivator is enough to make me take action. Let's see if you disappoint me. Feng Xiejun's eyes glowed with malevolent charm, unsettling Liu Hao. For some reason, even though the man was only a 7-star Do Xian, Liu Hao felt an unprecedented sense of unease. This was something he had never experienced before. Within Feng Xiejun's domain, it felt like an entirely different world, a chilling, terrifying space filled with an endless, eerie atmosphere. Liu Hao was suspended in mid-air, surrounded by protective light energy. Looking down, the entire ground beneath the domain glowed a deep, fiery red, resembling molten iron. Every large stone pillar and rock wall flickered with a terrifying blood-red light, the result of countless human blood being absorbed into the ground. Feng Xie Tiandang. Seeing the purity of Liu Hao's light energy, Feng Xiejun felt a ripple of unease. Without holding back, he swung his hand, causing a vast sea of demonic energy to rise, roaring toward Liu Hao. A deafening explosion followed, as if the heavens had cracked open. Blood-red light surged into the sky, filling the air with a sickening stench as blood swirled up from the ground. The space trembled violently, as if it might collapse at any moment. Killing energy filled the heavens and earth, turning the sky a dark crimson. Everything in the world was shrouded in a faint, blood-colored hue. From deep beneath the earth, muffled demonic howls echoed, indicating that the two were locked in a fierce battle. Strange. Why is the Soul Jade's fluctuation so weak? Xiao walked quietly through the floors of the tower, carefully searching each cell, but he couldn't find the one where Gu Yuan was imprisoned. Swish! The Soul Jade flickered, releasing a faint soul glow. This was the soul power left by Gu Yuan, and this current fluctuation clearly indicated that Gu Yuan was nearby. No choice, I can only try my luck. After a brief silence, Xiao headed toward the edge closest to the fortress of Senluo Hell below. The atmosphere here was most peculiar, and this area was likely the most suspicious one. There was no more time to waste. If he searched one cell at a time, he might not find anything for ages. It was better to take a gamble. Bang, bang, bang. A ceiling barrier? As expected, something's off. Just as Xiao approached the deepest cell, a faint, malevolent barrier instantly repelled him. Creak. In an instant, Xiao body corroded through the cold cage and barrier that could devour human do-qi and soul power, and he entered what appeared to be the cell where Gu Yuan was being held. Looking around, the space in this cell was surprisingly large, at least several hundred square meters. Inside, there was only a simple wooden table and a dark figure sitting nearby. Gu Yuan. Uncle? Xiao approached cautiously, the fluctuations from his soul jade confirming that the energy ahead was unmistakably familiar. Who is it? Upon hearing the name, Gu Yuan, the figure trembled violently, and then, his disheveled body turned around. His eyes, hidden beneath unkempt black hair, met the gaze of a man in black clothing. The man in black didn't seem too different from before, but his internal power had surged dramatically. At this moment, a familiar aura filled the shadowy man's mind.